they've looked at things like sleep deprivation. And it's been found that if you take someone and you sleep deprive them for 21 hours and give them about 25 to 30 grams of creatine, it completely negates the cognitive deficits of sleep deprivation. Actually, not only does it negate the cognitive deficits of sleep deprivation, it makes people function better than if they were well rested.
All right, guys. I keep seeing this claim online that creatine can replace sleep or it can negate the effects of sleep deprivation or even improve your cognitive performance after you've been awake for a long time. So I just wanted to cut on the microphone today and talk about it for a few minutes because I think this claim is being misunderstood from the study that it's coming from. So the idea became popular from Dr. Rhonda Patrick. You may have seen some of her clips online where she talks about a study where participants were given a high dose of creatine. I'll link to the study down below, and I encourage you to check it out, but I'll give you a summary of what the study says. So what researchers did was they took some healthy young adults and they kept them awake for 21 hours. After that, they gave half of the group a placebo and they gave the other half a large dose of creatine. We're talking about like 25 to 30 grams of creatine. And then they tested them on things like memory and reaction time and other cognitive tasks to see how they performed. And what they found was that the group that took creatine performed better on these tasks. So that's the basics of what the study is. Again, you can check down in the description if you want to read the full study yourself. But I have a few problems with how this study was done and the conclusions that people are coming to. So first off, if you look at the study, so they had the participants stay awake for 21 hours. And, typically people get about 5 or 6 hours of sleep a night, but that's not the same as, the results from this can't be the same as what you would see in people who have chronic sleep deprivation. Chronic sleep deprivation is when, for days and weeks, people aren't getting enough sleep that they need. Just doing it for one night isn't the same as, being chronically awake or having, chronic sleep problems. So that's one issue that I have with it. We're not talking full apples to, oranges comparison here. And another big concern that I have is that, just because that you perform better in a few cognitive tasks, that's not the same as all the benefits that you get from having an actual full night of sleep. Because when you sleep, that's when you get things like your hormone production. Is when you're strengthening your immune system. There's a lot more that goes into sleep than other than just your brain functionality. So, even if creatine does help you perform in some memory tasks, that's not the same as getting a full night of sleep where, you're building your muscle, you're, having hormone production that leads into other, positive benefits of your life. So, but my main issue with all of this is that it's a perfect, synopsis of what's wrong with social media and how people can see a headline or they can see a study and they could come to the wrong conclusions of it. I see so many people online in these videos saying that, yeah, they can only get, 4 or 5 hours of sleep, and then because they're taking a large dose of creatine, that they're still able to perform better. And I'm just here to let you know that that's not the case, guys. You definitely want to just get your sleep. Sleeping, there's so much more benefits to this. And again, I love creatine and I recommend that everyone should take it. But to think that you can perform better on bad sleep habits and you can fix it with creatine is just not the case. And I don't want anyone to get confused by seeing these headlines online or seeing just because, Dr. Rhonda Patrick has a doctor next to her name, that everything that what she's saying is, completely true. I'm not saying that she's wrong. I'm not saying that she hasn't earned her credentials or anything like that. But I'm just saying that, be careful with what you read online. And again, just, get your sleep, guys. Because there's a lot of benefits to it. You'll be able to lift, lift more in the gym. You'll be able to, perform muscle growth and a lot of other benefits that you guys really need to think about other than just, creatine helps me remember things better. But just again, don't overcomplicate your fitness. Keep it simple. Lift heavy in the gym, go consistently, And you just need to take, 3 to 5 grams a day. You don't need to take 25, 30 grams of creatine. That's way too much. Just, save your money, save your creatine. 5 grams a day is more than enough. And if you want to read up more about this, I wrote about this on my blog. That'll be in the description below as well as also with the study where we talked about this. So, that's it. If you guys have any other crazy fitness claims that you're not sure about and you want me to, investigate it for you, just let me know in the comments below. But that's pretty much it for today. So, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.